Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing my non-spoiler review for my spoiler review for Captain Marvel. So be warned, there are spoilers ahead and we are going to just dive right in. So if you're worried about that, then click away quickly because there are a lot of things to spoil. So let's begin. The first thing I want to talk about is that, and I really hope that those of you who are watching this that have not seen the movie yet, click away to my non-spoiler review just for this one small thing, because the shock of it is like, it made me tear up. The Marvel logo intro with all, instead of the characters, Stan Lee cameos and just pictures and footage of Stan Lee. It was so beautiful and so it was just such an amazing way to honor him, and I'm curious about whether they're going to continue that with the Spider-Man movie and with Endgame, because it really hit me quite hard, and it was just beautiful. And furthermore, on his cameo, that was also adorable. So I really liked it. Yeah, so the honoring of Stan Lee in this movie was really nice. And yeah, I don't know why I didn't expect it, but it hit me quite hard. But yeah, so let's move on to the actual movie. This movie had beautiful concepts. The way that they world built the Kree, just the whole universe of the Kree was really cool. I wish I could have spent more time in that city exploring it, but it would have taken drastically away from the story, so I'm glad we didn't. But again, the effects on, like when she was speaking with the intelligence, that thing that would vine around her, that was really cool. And other concepts like that, they just looked really good. They were super, I don't know, I was like, ooh, that's nice. So I thought I'd point it out. Also we're just going to stick with special effects right now. I noticed that when they travel quickly through space, I don't know if it's jumping through wormholes or whatever, because they said that they couldn't travel at light speed, so I guess when you're there at super speed, and they pop into a place, very Star Wars-esque. This movie was very Star Wars-esque, very, especially in the spacecraft chase scenes with Monica Rambeau. All of that was, wow, very Star Wars-esque. Anyway, I noticed that when the ships stop or whatever, they have this hexagon effect going on, and I noticed that that's the same thing that I wrote same hexagons for rapid space travel as the Guardians. So in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, when they zap into a place, you could actually, it's evident in both movies, but in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it happens quite a bit. It's when they appear, it's a hexagon, they shoot out of this hexagon thing, and they use that a lot in Captain Marvel, and I really liked how they had that small little detail of continuity going throughout the MCU. It's not something I would have thought of, but the second I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. So I think that's really clever, and I'm happy that they did that. That was really good. The effects overall, though, were not on the level that they could have been on. In some moments, they were so good. I was like, whoa. And then in other moments, it looked so fake that it took me out of the movie. Some examples are Goose the cat, who I loved. Some moments Goose just did not look real at all. And then other moments include when she was falling. In that moment, it was around the climax of the film when she was falling down and she was right before she went full power. she just, like, it just did not look real. And I was like, oh, I really want this to look real, but it doesn't. That was unfortunate. So I don't understand why overall the effects, like with Black Panther and it happened in Spider-Man, how we're at a place where we are in digital effects, especially within Disney, like the Jungle Book, the Lion King, we can create animals that look that real. Yet there's still somehow instances in these movies which have mastered digital effects in many areas. They still look so fake at times. So I don't understand that. I guess they just spend more time on some scenes, but I think that they could have made a lot of it look just a little bit better, and in some cases a lot better. But yeah, so that's always unfortunate when it jumps out at you like that. It's unfortunate. But moving on. I guess we're gonna have to talk about the elephant in the room, Brie Larson. She was fabulous. I have a new hero. This movie did not make me cry in the way that Wonder Woman did, in terms of, oh my god, this is like the representation of me on the screen. I'm sobbing. But it was different. It was like, I was past the point where I would cry at these things because I was so happy. I was like, just so ready to just watch Brie Larson just like smash people. Like, and I love the fact that she did so much training for this movie. She learned martial arts. She put so much hard work into getting this character right, and it shows. And I think she did an amazing job. She was funny. She looked powerful. She looked strong. It was all very believable. She's a great actress, and yeah, I think she's the perfect person they could have chosen to play Captain Marvel. I was not sure how to feel about the choice when they initially announced it, but it paid off. It was amazing. She looked great in the suit. Her powers looked great. Carol Danvers is so likable, and why won't this tuft of hair stay behind my ear? Carol Danvers is so likable and so relatable, and you can respect her because you see flashes of her growing up, and excuse me, you see flashes of her growing up and struggling and trying to get better and better and better, and people keep saying like, you're not that good, you can't, but she just keeps trying. She keeps getting back up and trying because she wants to be good, and she wants to be powerful and strong and to do good things. She wants to serve her country, even though in 89, I think it was, and Carol Danvers went missing, or was killed. Women weren't allowed to fly missions in the Air Force, but she still wanted to serve her country. She still worked as hard as she could to be able to do that. And so she was just so respectable. It was so hard not to like her. She was very endearing, and I was so proud of her character arc. I loved all the decisions she made. I just think she was great. She really pulled it off. It was amazing. Going more into characters, I guess, Samuel L. Jackson was awesome. Did not expect, because in the back of my head, I knew they were probably going to show us him losing his other eye, Nick Fury losing his eye, and I knew because in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, he says, the last time I trusted someone, it lost me an eye, or I lost my eye, or something like that. It cost me my eye. I don't know, but I was like, okay, so is he going to trust someone in this movie that's going to cause him to lose his eye? I was like, what's going on? Like, and I was waiting, but it was kind of in the back of my mind. I just was I wasn't thinking about who is he trusting. I was kind of just thinking like, he's going to lose his eye, isn't he? At some point. And insanely, and they even had a gag where he like hurt his eye, but he didn't lose his eye. And then it was Goose. The last person he trusted was Goose, the cat. That is so funny. I can't believe that. I can't believe that's how Nick Fury lost his eye in the MCU. It's hilarious. And I can't imagine, like, Captain America and all these, like, all the Avengers, like, getting denied this story for so long, and they're, like, trying to figure out who it is, and they find out it's a cat. Like, that's hilarious. I hope Goose is still alive at the time that Endgame takes place. I mean, that would be a very long lifespan for a cat, but I don't know how long the lifespan is for a Flargon, so you never know. Yeah, but I loved his charisma. I loved his relationship with Carol Danvers, and I loved how compatible he was with Goose. That was amazing. So yeah, love English. I really liked young Nick Fury. I really liked young Agent Coulson. We didn't get that much of him, but I really liked him as well. I thought that was, he was very much in character. Like, it was good. Yeah, and then as far as other characters, like Monica Rambeau, loved her, loved the daughter. I hope we get to see her in Hero State at around the time of Endgame, because as some of you may know from the comics, she does become her own superhero later. So that's awesome. I hope I'm sure they're gonna do it because they introduced her as such an awesome, adorable little child. So that would be really cool. I hope that they continue with the scrolls. There's such a brilliant concept, and I know, despite what I was thinking, I think despite what a lot of you were thinking, they didn't go through with the Secret Invasion storyline from the comics, which would have just completely flipped the MCU upside down. And I understand why they're not doing that, because going into a movie as big as Endgame, I don't think they want people to be overwhelmed with that kind of information, as like Captain America might be a Skrull or something like that. It's not the best in terms of marketing and just like handling your franchise, but I do hope they do that in the future. However, they introduce the Skrulls as people who were pretty innocent and like good people, so I don't know how we will ever get a Secret Invasion storyline. It must be just like some bad Skrulls that are just evil and want revenge for just being people being awful to them. So not sure what's going to happen there, but I would like to see Secret Invasion at some point. I think that'd be a really cool storyline. But yeah, speaking of the Skrulls, I was so confused about who was good and who was bad in this movie, because I know just from my comic book knowledge that the Skrulls are bad. I know Marvel is not always good, very, very not trustworthy, and I thought that Jude Law was going to be Marvel, and then I thought the Kree were going to be like good or bad or good or bad or good or bad, and my brain kept switching on me, and it kind of got in the way of my viewing experience just a little bit, but I think the way, like, taking a step back and erasing my comic book knowledge, the movie handled it well. I just was so like overwhelmed with all these preconceived notions that it kind of screwed me up a bit. But if you don't go in with that, then you'll be fine. What's his face? What's his face? What is his face? What is his face? What is his face? What is his face? His name is someone. He was in Rogue One. He played this girl who impersonated Coulson. Oh my god, what is your name? Anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, I know his name. Because I love him. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. This never happened. Let's just forget about it. We're just going to start talking about him and maybe it'll pop into my head. Anyway, he was really good. Very funny. Like, very funny. The whole movie was actually pretty funny, and not in a way that was distracting or that took away from the movie at all. It was actually, it just enhanced it, in my opinion, because so much of it was 90s fish out of water, or just general things that just happened for the organic flow of the storyline that just happened to be funny. Like, what is it? Like when the computer was loading, and they're like, what's happening? And it's like, it's loading because it's the 90s. And so it was funny. Like, there's so many things that, I mean, I was born in 99, so I didn't know the 90s that existed in this movie, which was, I think, 95. But I did know the early 2000s and a lot of what carried over from the 90s. So I consider that pretty similar. Like, I had to experience the very slow loading computers, the spinning wheel of death, VHS tapes, blockbusters, all of that. Like, Radio Shacks, those still exist. Yeah, a lot, like all of like the baggy clothes from Gap, like stuff like that. A lot of the stuff that carried over, and the 90s TV shows, 90s culture, 90s music, a lot of that I did grow up with. So to some degree I knew a lot about what was going on, and other things I was like, I just knew because society talks about them. But yeah, that was crazy reliving that, because when I love 80s culture, but I wasn't even close to being alive in the 80s. So when I see that stuff, I can't relate to it, but I still feel like I can relate to 90s culture, just a little bit. So that was really cool. And I was really excited to see all of that. And it was really funny to see, genuinely. Like, it was hilarious. And those cars, oh my God, the cars were just hideous. Oh my goodness. Some cars, like, I would argue that the cars from the 70s and 80s are like attractive. I think they're really cool looking, but 90s just, and early 2000s just so bad. Oh, just hideous. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, but the movie, I overall really liked it. I liked the cast, I liked the plot, even though it confused me a little bit, and I loved seeing a full-powered Captain Marvel, someone that apparently is powered by the Tesseract, indirectly, but still, like, what? My jaw dropped when I saw the Tesseract. I was like, I should have expected that. Especially because I have, like, PTSD from all of the Infinity Stones after Infinity War, so. That makes 3 if you count the ones that are dead. Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Captain Marvel all get powers stemming from an Infinity Stone, or directly from an Infinity Stone, which is really cool. And maybe that'll be key to taking out Thanos, but honestly, I don't understand how it's even going to be a fight at all, because I feel like she's just going to be like, pew, and Thanos is just going to drop dead. Like, she is so powerful, and it is so awesome. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. I can't wait to see her interact with the Avengers. When she showed up in that end credit scene, there are 2 end credit scenes. One is just a tease with Goose puking up the Tesseract, and the other is like a scene from Endgame. Like, I'm assuming you guys don't need to hear me say this, but just for clarification, when I say Endgame, I mean Avengers Endgame, the movie that is coming out at the end of April this year, and it's the direct follow-up to Avengers Infinity War. Anyway, that was shocking to see, because I got spoiled for me. I saw an image on Instagram of the back of Black Widow's head and Carol Danvers, and they're like looking at each other, and so I knew that she was going to show up. But I didn't think we were going to see all of the Avengers. I was shocked to see Captain America and Bruce Banner, just all of them, like, hanging out, like, trying to figure out what this thing stopped beeping, this, like, weird 2-way pager. And so they're trying to, like, get it to start again. It's plugged in. It was, oh God, it was hilarious. And then she just showed up and it was amazing. Where's Fury? She looked great. I just can't wait to see how they continue with this. It looks so good. It looks like, I just can't wait to see her interact with the rest of the MCU. I wish we had gotten more Air Force Carol Danvers content, but the way that they introduced her and the way that they talked about her, and they talked about her past, and they showed it through a fantastic editing. It was really good, and I can't complain. So the last thing I'm going to talk about, I hope I didn't miss anything, but if you guys think I did, or if I said something in my non-spoiler review that I was going to talk about here, I'm sorry, leave it in the comments down below and we will chat. And you can also find me on my social medias too, which are in the description box down below. But the last thing I'm going to talk about, and perhaps the most important thing, but also the most unimportant thing, is the backlash from people who believe this film to be sexist, or just other sorts of boycotting or like fears about the movie. We're going to address that right now very quickly. Okay. And I'm going to start off by saying two quotes in the movie that just made me want to like pump my fist in the air. The motorcycle dude who was like, "Give me a smile," and she was like, "No," and brilliant. And then the moment at the end where Jude Law was all like, this is your chance, fight me one-on-one without your powers, and then she's just like, pew, I have nothing to prove to you. And that was incredible. A person who lied to her all of her life, from like the life that she knew, like 6 years, who lied to her, who deceived her, and the whole movie people were telling her to not use her emotions, and when she does, like, she's an even stronger fighter and even more powerful, and just loved it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about this whole debacle, and it's, you know, irrelevant. The argument does not exist. There is no anti-male sexism going on. There's no feminist agenda or blaring female empowerment that's happening. Honestly, the most direct thing was the fact that it came out on International Women's Day. I know I talked about this in my non-spoiler review, but it's just so important for you guys to understand that just because a woman is powerful in film does not mean men cannot be powerful with her. And it does not, just because we're all championing this as women, because we don't get movies like this a lot. Yeah, we get strong female characters, but do they ever get their own movie? Like, did Black Widow or Scarlet Witch or Gamora, did they get their own movies? No, they did not. And when we get movies, they're the ones that are actually like good and representing women in a non-toxic way are few and far between. And by non-toxic, I mean we're not sexualized. We're not made to be only a tomboy if we're fast or strong or aggressive. And we're decent people with like actual lives and personality, and we're good people, and we don't need a romance. So these types of things are things that men have gotten for all of film history, but women, it's again few and far between. And so that's why it's exciting for people like me, and for little girls, and for people who've always wanted to see a superhero that reflects themselves down to the gender on the big screen. Is just really important to us, and it's not taking away from anything that other characters have done. So I don't think that there's anything to boycott this movie over or to get upset about. I think it's important that you see it if you're going to see Endgame. It's important to see it if you want to understand Samuel L. Jackson's character and, what did I just say? Nick Fury, and just a lot of the past and the history of the MCU. It's an important movie to see if you're a Marvel fan, and it's a fun movie to see. You won't be wasting your money on it. I see so many arguments, people saying that it's just gonna suck, and like the ad campaign was weak, yes, but like if you're not seeing a movie because it has a female lead, you need to check your sexism at the door. But overall, it was good, and there's nothing to worry about. It's completely and 100% unproblematic. And I mean, I can honestly make a whole video about it. I can make a whole rant about it. It's unproblematic. It's just completely, look at me. This movie is unproblematic, okay? There's no anti-male energy going on whatsoever. There are just strong women that acknowledge the fact that because it's the 80s, they can't fly missions in the Air Force. That's literally all that's happened. That's the only gender differential that is mentioned at all in the movie. And if that's a problem for you, then I don't know what to tell you. It's 2019, so figure your stuff out. But it's completely and utterly not sexist and not problematic, and I was afraid that it would be. I'm not going to be I'm going to be completely honest here. I was worried. But it's just a good movie. And to those of you who think it seems some people have said it seems like Marvel Phase 1. I disagree. I actually feel like it doesn't even feel that much like anything in the MCU at all. It feels like it's a completely different thing. It's like when we saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, wow, this isn't the MCU. Like, it's hard to imagine that they're connected at all. That's kind of what happened here. It's just a whole different vibe, especially because it was set in the 90s. So it's just, it's different in the same way that Guardians was, and the way that Captain America, the First Avenger, was, in terms of different locations in the universe and different timelines. So for that reason, it did not feel like an MCU Phase 1 film, and it didn't feel like it was completely in the MCU either, but it was still rooted there. So if that makes any sense. Yeah. So this has gotten to be a long video, which I will edit down after this. But yeah. If you guys want to see me make any more videos about Captain Marvel, talking about specific things, what I want for a sequel, anything like that, just let me know in the comments down below, because I'd be happy to make those for you. And yeah, I hope you all give this movie a chance. It's really good. Very entertaining, and I plan to go see it again on a Dolby screen this week when my friend gets home. We're gonna watch it together, and yeah, it's really exciting. It's really good. I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and just keep an open mind. And there's a cat. Sorry, correction. There's a flurkin. So yeah, subscribe if you want to see more of my coverage from this movie and from Endgame, which is coming up very soon. We should be getting a trailer. I think it'll be next week or the week after. I don't think it's going to be this week. But that'll be very exciting, and like this video if you liked it. Anyway, have a good day, everyone. Bye.